In this video, we'll go through exam questions that cover the criteria, work out percentages of amounts, and express one amount as a percentage of another. You can locate the questions on the marsmaths.com website under Level 2. The questions come from different exam boards. We'll start with the non-calculator questions and then we'll move to the calculator questions. Here is the first question. Lizzie buys 3 clocks for a total cost of £50 at a car boot sale. She sells 2 of the clocks for £22 each and the other clock for £20. Lizzie thinks she has made a profit of over 30% of the cost of the clocks. Is Lizzie correct? Show why you think this. So she bought them for £50 and she sold them for 22 and 22 because it's 2 clocks for £22 each and a third one for 20. So 2 and 2, that is 4, 2 and 2 and 2, that is 6. So she sold them for £64. The profit is 64 take away the 50, which is £14. Now we could do this in 2 different methods. One of them is to do 14 out of 50 because that's the amount that she bought them for and see whether that is over 30%, or we could work out 30% of 50 and see whether that is £14. 14 over 50. Rather than going and dividing 14 by 50, I can just double the 14 and double the 50, so I keep the fraction the same. So that is 28 out of 100. And we know percentages are out of 100. So this means this is equal to 28%. So £14 is equal to 28%, which is lower than 30. So no, we can say no, she made 28% profit. Okay, the other way that I mentioned at the beginning would have been to work out 30% of the £50. 10% is 50 divided by 10 gives us 5. So 10% of 50 is equal to 5. 20% will be double that, so that is 10. 30% will be 15 pounds, that is. So to make 30% profit, she would have needed to make £15 profit. So 30% is equal to £15, whereas she only made £14 profit. So that is below 15. So either way, you decide which method you use. I'm just showing you both, but you only need to use one of them. Here is another question which also links to selling at a car boot sale. Hannah goes to another car boot sale to sell some items. She paid £155 for the items she hopes to sell. How much will Hannah need to sell these items for to make a 17.5% profit? So 17.5% profit. As we can't use a calculator, we'll break this down into 10%, 5%, and 2.5%. So when you add these together, it gives you 17.5%. Now 10% of 155. How do you work that out? Again, 10% method is that of dividing the number by 10. Because if I just represent it here quickly, 10% will be one of these squares, could be anywhere. So that's 10%. So 10 lots of it will make 100%, the total amount. To get 10%, you need to divide the whole amount by 10, because there are 10 divisions in total. So 155 divided by 10, you should know this method without the calculator. So we can imagine the decimal point being right here, and we're going to move it one place to the left to make the number smaller. So the number is now 15.5. So 10% of 155 is £15.50. 5% will be half of that. So what is half of 15.5? Splitting 15 into 2, that is going to give us 7.5. Splitting 0.5 is going to give us 0.25. So that is 7.75. 2.5% is going to be half of that. So to work out half of 7.75%, we're going to divide 7.75 by 2. How many 2's fit into 7? That is 3 of them. And that makes 6, because 2 times 3 is 6. So we have 1 remaining. We have a decimal point here, which we're going to transfer to the answer. So how many 2's fit into 17 now? That is 8, because 2 times 8 is 16. So we have 1 remaining again. How many 2's fit into 15? That is 7, because 2 times 7 is 14. And we have 1 remaining. We've run out of digits, so we can add zeros here, because we've got a decimal point already. And zeros at the end, after the decimal point, make no difference. So how many 2's fit into 10? That is 5 exactly, and we have nothing remaining. So that is 3.875. So in total, this has given us the 17.5% amount. So I can fill these with zeros. So that's 5, 5 and 7, that's 12, so 2 down, 1 carried over. 7 and 8 is 15, and the 5 is 20, and the 1 we have carried over, that is 21. So 1 down and 2 carried over. 5 and 7, that is 12, and the 3, that is 15. And the 2 we carried over, that is 17. So 7 down, 1 carried over. 1 and 1 is 2. So 27.125. So 17.5% of £155 is 27.125. So that's the profit that Hannah will need to make. So that's going to go on top of the £155. So 27.13, because we're talking about money, so £27.13. I'm going to round this to 27.13. And I'm going to add 155 to that. 3 and 0 is 3, 1 and 0 is 1, 7 and 5, that is 12, so 2 down and 1 is carried over. 2 and 5 is 7, and the 1, that is 8. So £182.13. That's how much she's going to need to sell the items for to make 17.5% profit. Sam is a volunteer for CHAD, a charity that supports children. Charities are put into categories according to the amount of money they raise each year. Last year, CHAD raised over £169,801. So, £569,801. Tick the box next to the category that CHAD is in. So we've got micro, which is between 0 and 9,999, which isn't the case. Then small, which is between 10,000 and 99,999, which again isn't the case for CHAD. Medium, between 100,000 and 999,999, which actually is the case. So it's a medium category. Now this links to a question that is about percentages. That's why that question in here. This year, CHAD aimed to raise £626,000. The pie chart shows where the funds will come from. So we've got cards, workshops, grants, fundraising events. So far, CHAD have raised £95,280 from grants. So that's this one here. How much more money do they aim to raise from grants this year? So, from grants they aim to raise 21%. So what is 21% of 626,000? As we can't use a calculator, we'll use the 10% method. So I'm going to break down the 21% into 10, 10 and 1%. So 10% of 626,000 we work it out by dividing 626,000 by 10. As it's a whole number ending with zeros, that means knocking off a zero at the end. So 62600. So that is £62,600. And again 10%, that is 62,600. 1% we work out by dividing 626,000 by 100, because it's just 1 out of the 100%. So we knocking off 2 zeros at the end. So this will be 626 with just 1 0 at the end. So 6,260 is equal to 1%. So 10% and 10%, that is 20, and the 1%, that is 21% in total. So when I add all of these amounts, it should give me what 21% is worth. So 0, 0, 0, 0 and 0 and 6, that gives us 6. 6 and 6 is 12, and the 2 is 14, so 4 down and 1 carried over. 2 and 2 is 4, and the 6 is 10, and the 1 we carried over, that is 11, so 1 down, 1 carried over. 6 and 6 is 12, and the 1 is 13. So £131,460. That is what 21% of 626,000 is equal to. Now they have raised 95,280 already. So if I take that away, from the 131,460 should give me 0 take away 0 is 0. We need to take away 8 from the 6, which means we've got to borrow 1 from the 4. So this becomes 16. Take away 8 gives us 8. 3 take away 2 is 1. 1 take away 5 means we've got to borrow 1 from the 3. This becomes 11. 11 take away 5 gives us 6. So 2 take away 9 means we've got to borrow 1, and this becomes 12. Take away 9 gives us 3. So £36,180 still need to be raised from grants. Noah's hobby is building models using plastic blocks. He is making a model of a town. Noah has opened a new model building set. Inside is a large bag of colored blocks. What percentage of the blocks are red? So red, we've got 276 out of the total. What is the total? 5 and 5 is 10. 6 and 4 is 10. So 10 and 10, that is 20. 0 down, 2 carried over. Now we've got 5 and 5, that is 10. 7 and 7, that is 14. 10 and 14, that is 24. Add the 4 is 28. Add the 2, we carried over, that is 30. So 0 down and 3 carried over. So we've got 3 and 2, which is 5, and the 1 is 6, so 600. So 276 out of 600. Now we can divide 276 by 600 to get the decimal, and then multiply by 100 to get the percentage. But what I'm going to do instead is see if I could get to an equivalent fraction where I've got 100 at the bottom. That would give me the percentage. So to get to that point, that means I need to divide 600 by 6. And I'd need to do the same thing to 276. Let's see if that gives us a whole number. Even if it doesn't, it still gives us the percentage. So 276 divided by 6. How many 6s into 2? None of them, so I'm going to go into 27. How many 6s into 27? That is 4, because 4 times 6 is 24, so we have 3 remaining. How many 6s into 36? That is exactly 6, because 6 times 6 is 36. So the answer is 46. So 46 out of 100, that is 46%, because percent means out of 100. If you went through the long route and divided 276 by 600, the answer would have been 0.46, and then multiplying that by 100 gives you 46 again. So it gets to the same answer. What is 14% of 200? Okay, so let's break this down into 10% and then 1%. So 10% of 200, that is same as dividing 200 by 10, which gives us 20, knocking off a 0. 1% is like dividing 200 by 100, which means knocking off 2 zeros, and that gives us 2. So that's 1%. Again, 2, 2, 2. That's 8, so 28. So 14% of 200 is equal to 28. What is 42% of 400? Okay, so 10% of 400, that is 400 divided by 10, which is 40, knocking off a 0. Now we need 4 lots of 10% to make 40, so that's another 40 here, 40, 40, and we need 2%, so 1% and 1%. 1% of 400 we can work out by dividing 400 by 100. That's knocking off 2 zeros, so that gives us 4. We need another 1%, which is another 4. So adding all of these together gives us 8 there, 4 and 4 is 8, and 4 is 12, and 4 is 16. So 168. Calculate 15% of 390. So 15% I'm going to split into 10% and 5%. So 10% of 390 we work out doing 390 divided by 10. So knocking off a 0 from 390 gives us 39. 5% is half of that. So what is half of 39? Dividing by 2. So how many 2's fit into 3? That is just 1. We have 1 remaining. How many 2's into 19? That is 9, because 2 times 9 is 18. So we have 1 remaining. We've run out of digits, so we need to put a decimal point here. And we can add as many zeros as we wish. I'm going to add 1 here now. How many 2's into 10? That is 5. And there is nothing remaining. So 19.5 is half of 39. So that is also equal to 5% of 390. Adding these two together, get 5. 99 is 18. So 8 down, 1 carried over, 3 and 1 is 4, and the 1 is 5. So 58.5. That is what 15% of 390 is equal to. Work out 19% of 150. 19% you could work out in different ways. You could get the 10%, then the 5%, 1% 4 times. So that will total 19%. Or you could do 10% and then double that to get 20%. And then work out 1% and take it away from the 20%. That is easier to do. So that's what I'm going to do now. 10% of 150. So that is 150 divided by 10. So knocking off a 0, we get 15 here. 20%, that's going to be double that, so that is 30. 1%, that is 150 divided by 100. And we can't knock off 2 zeros because we've got 150, so that means moving the decimal point now 2 places to the left. So 150, you can imagine the decimal point being right at the end. 2 places means we get the decimal point here. So we get 1.50 or 1.5. That's the same thing. So if I take away 1.5 now which is equal to 1%, from the 30, which is equal to 20%, that should give me 19%. So 30, take away 1.5, lining this up correctly. So we need to take away 5 from the 0, which means we've got to borrow. But next to the 0, we've got another 0, so we can't borrow from the 0. That means we need to borrow 1 from this, so this becomes 10, and the 3 becomes 2. Now we can borrow 1 from the 10. So this becomes 10, and this becomes 9. So 10 take away 5 gives us 5. 9 take away 1 is 8. 2 take away nothing, that is 2. So 28.5. So 19% of 150 is 28.5. Lucas buys a 450-gram packet of biscuits. He reads the label. Sugar content 26.4 grams per 100 gram. Maximum recommended daily amount of sugar 30 grams. Lucas eats 2 biscuits. Work out the percentage of the MRDA of sugar in the 2 biscuits. So there are 26.4 grams in 100 gram of biscuits. The whole pack weighs 450 grams. So how much sugar is there in the whole thing? So 26.4 in 100 grams. There are 450 grams. So another 26.4, 26.4, 26.4, and half of 26, that is 13. Half of 0.4 is 0.2, so 13.2 grams of sugar in 50 grams of biscuits. So adding these together, four and 4 is 8, and 4 is 12, and 4 is 16, and 2 is 18. So 8 down and 1 carried over. 6 and 6 and 6 and 6, so that is 4 lots of 6, that is 24. 24 and the 3, that is 27, and the 1, that is 28. So 8 down, 2 carried over. 2 and 2 and 2 and 2 and 2, that is 5 lots of 2, which is 10, and the 1, that is 11. So there are 118.8 grams of sugar in 450 grams of biscuits. There are 36 biscuits in the pack. So Lucas has eaten 2 biscuits. To work out how many grams of sugar in 1 biscuit, we can divide 118.8 by 36. And then multiply that by 2 to work out the amount of sugar in 2 biscuits. Or we could just go straight in and divide that by 18. So divide that by 18 to give us how much sugar there is in 2 biscuits. And that's what I'm going to do. So 118.8 divided by 18. So how many 18s fit into 118? So in my head, I'm going to round this up to 20. So 20, that would be 6 of them in 120. So let's see, 18 times 6, how close is that to 118. 6 times 8 is 48, so 8 down, 4 carried over. 6 times 1 is 6, and the 4, that is 10. That's a good number. I can't fit another 18, so I'm going to leave it there. So I'm going to put 6 there. What we have remaining is 10, because 108 add 10 gives us 118. Now we've got a decimal point here, which we need to make sure we transfer to the answer as well. We have 10 carried over, so the question is now how many 18s into 108, and we've got the answer here. It was 6. Exactly 6, so 6.6 grams in 2 biscuits. So 6.6 out of the 30 grams, that's the recommended daily allowance, the maximum recommended daily allowance, because we need to work it out as a percentage. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide by 3, both numbers by 3, so I get 2.2 out of 10. Now I'm going to multiply by 10 both numbers, so I get 100 here and 22 at the top, so 22 out of 100, which is 22%. So he's had 22% of the maximum recommended daily allowance. We now move into the calculator question, so you can use a calculator from now on. We'll of course use different methods, not the 10% method, which is typical for when you haven't got a calculator handy or you're not allowed to use a calculator. The question says, work out 37% of 4,618.57. Give your answer to 1 decimal place. So 37%, as the word suggests, that is 37 out of 100. Of 4,618.57. So if we do in the calculator 37 divided by 100, because fraction line means division, as you know, and of is always multiplication. So we're multiplying by the number that we're working out the percentage of. So 4,618.57. So that gives us 1,708.8709. We've got to give our answer to 1 decimal place, so that is 1 place after the decimal point. So that's the cutoff point. Looking at the digit on the right, that is a 7, and again we know if it's a 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9, we round up, so this 8 here becomes a 9, and the digits in front remain unchanged. So 1,708.9. That's the answer. "200 people apply to work at a new office. 49 of these people are employed. Work out 49 as a percentage of 200. So 49 out of 200. So 49 divided by 200 gives us 0.245. So that's the decimal form. We need to get this into a percentage. And remember, this looks like money. It would have been 24.5 pence which is 24.5%. So you could also multiply 0.245 by 100 and it gives you 24.5%. Icebergs are large lumps of ice that float in the sea. Tom reads that the icebergs float because the density of ice is less than the density of seawater. The density of ice is 0.92 grams per milliliter, and the density of the sea is 1.03 grams per milliliter. Calculate 0.92 as a percentage of 1.03. Give your answer as a percentage to the nearest whole number. So it's 0.92 as a percentage of 1.03. So really, this sentence is the key. The context is not that important. It's not telling you much. All you need to do is to calculate 0.92 as a percentage of 1.03. So don't let that context scare you if you don't know anything about icebergs. So that's what we're going to do. In the calculator, 0.92 divided by 1.03 gives us 0.8932 and so on. So as a percentage, this is going to be 89.32. We've got to give our answer as a percentage to the nearest whole number. So we only need the digits before the decimal point. We need the whole number. So do we keep this as 89 or do we go to 90? So looking at this digit here on the right, that's a 3. That means we keep it down as 89%. Lottie plays basketball. She does some shooting practice. She takes 75 shots. 33 of these shots go in the basket. What percentage of her shots go in the basket? So that is 33 out of 75. So with a calculator, we do 33 divided by 75, which gives us 0.44. So that is like 44 pence, which is also 44%. You could do 0.44 times 100 using a calculator as well, and it'll give you the same answer. Judy reads an article about apprentices. In 2019, there were 742,400 apprentices in England. Of these, 51,000 apprentices were in the construction sector. Judy thinks that in 2019 more than 6% of the apprentices in England were in the construction sector. Is she correct? Show how you decide. So there were 51,000 apprentices in the construction sector. Out of the 742,400, that was the total number of apprentices. So using the calculator, we'll do 51,000 divided by 742,400 gives us 0.068 696 and so on. So as a percentage, that is 6.8696%. So that is over 6%. That is more than 6%. So is she correct? Yes. Yes, it's 6.869%. So it's more. What is 12% of 5,300. Okay, so now we have to work out percentage of a number or amount, as it's in this case. So 12%, that is 12 out of 100 of 5,300. So 12 divided by 100 times 5,300, which gives us 636. So that's what that is equal to. Calculate 13% of 255. So 13%, again 13 out of 100 of 255. 13 divided by 100 times 255 gives us £33.15. A company asked its 230 employees if they would like more flexible working hours. Of those asked, 198 said yes. What percentage of the employees said yes? Show your working and write your answer in the box below. So, how many of them said yes? It was 198. Out of the 230, we know that that fraction line means division, so 198 divided by 230 gives us 0.8608, and so on, and that is 86%. Calculate 23% of 591. So again, 23%, that is 23 out of 100 of 591. Now, do you notice something? 23 out of 100, or 23 divided by 100, that gives you 0.23. So you know that because you know how to divide by 100. So 23% as a decimal, that is 0.23. So as soon as you see 23%, or whatever that percentage might be, write it down as a decimal. So this one is 0.23. Of, as we said before, means multiply. So of 591. It gives us the answer. So times 591 gives us 135.93. So this is a nice and short method. Write the percentage as a decimal and then just multiply it by the number you're trying to work out the percentage of. A survey asked 380 customers if they were satisfied with their current phone network provider. Of those asked, 312 said yes. What percentage of the customers said no? Show your working and write the answer in the box below. So 312 said yes. So if we do 380, which is the total, take away 312, should give us how many said no. Which is 68. So that is 68 out of the total number of customers, which is 380. So 68 out of 380, that gives us 0.1789, and so on. So as a percentage, this is 17.89%. Even if we set 18%, it should be fine. Or 17.9 should be fine. But try to not round off. Jude earns £1,653 per month. He pays £578.55 in rent. What is £578.55 as a percentage of £1,653? Show you're working out and write the answer in the box below. So it's 578.55 out of 1,653. So using a calculator, we'll divide 578.55 divided by 1,653 gives us 0.35. So that is 35%, just like 35 pence in a pound. Sarah helps to organize a Family Fun Day charity event each year. Last year, 120 people attended the event, each paying a £2.50 entry fee. It cost £175 to hire the village hall for the event and a further £85 for prizes. How much profit did Sarah make for charity? Show your calculations and our workings out here. So we've got 120 people who attended and they each paid £2.50. So if we multiply 120 by £2.50, that should give us how much money came from the tickets, entry fees. So 120 times 2.5 gives us 300. So that is £300 going here. How many percent is that equal to? Well, the total should be 100%. So if we take away all these four, should give us that difference. So 19 add 32 add 9 add 15 gives us 75%. So that's the difference, 25%. So 100 take away 75 gives us 25%, a quarter. So a quarter is 300. So the full 100% should be 300 times 4, or 4 times 300, which is 1,200. So that's the total. If we take away the cost, that is £175, and the £85 should give us the profit. So 175 add 85 gives us 260. 1,200 take away 260 gives us 940. So the profit is £940. In a year, Alex wrote 1,460 posts promoting companies. She was paid £75 for each post that had at least 65,000 views. In total, she was paid £36,000. What percentage of her post had at least 65,000 views? So the total amount that she was paid is 36,000. And it's £75 per post. So we're going to divide that by 75 to work out how many posts. So 36,000 divided by 75 gives us 480. So that's how many posts had at least 65,000 views. So 480 out of the 1,460 posts. So if we divide 480 by 1,460, gives us 0.3287, and so on. So as a percentage, that is 32.87%. Let's just 32.87. So we can round this to 32.9% because that's a 7 there. And this is the end of the questions.